Hey, this is a brief story about our third principle. Hi, it's Judith. I'm the religious educator, and we're going to talk about how the acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth, which is our third principle, can also be thought of in terms of a third-ish type principle, acceptance of a meal and encouragement to try new foods. Different ways to look at the same discussion. Here we go. It was a rainy Saturday afternoon, and two friends, Margaret and Teresa, were hanging out together, watching movies. They were doing a Princess Diaries marathon. This is a story about a young woman figuring out if being a princess and eventually queen is right for her. There are a lot of layers to this story, but one of them is about trying new things and being open to new ideas. The movies came to an end. Teresa's folks called the girls to set the table for dinner. And they did, 4 places. As the girls sat down, Margaret's parents brought the food out. It was chicken cacciatore. Margaret was smiling, but Teresa said, "I'm sorry, I don't eat that." "Oh? D- do you have food allergies?" Margaret's parents asked. No, I don't have any allergies." "Are you a vegetarian?" "No," said Teresa, "I'm not." "Have you ever tried this dish before?" Margaret's mom asked. "No," said Teresa. "It just looks funny." Okay, what would you do if Queen Clarice from the Princess Diaries offered you this meal? Asked Margaret's dad. Well, Queen Clarice of Genovia, which is the fictitious country from the movie, would say it was impolite not to at least try what was offered to you. So, said Teresa, I guess I would eat it. Right, said Margaret's dad. And then Margaret jumped in. She would also say, you don't know what you don't like unless you have tried it. Okay, said Teresa, I will try it. And so they all sat down and dove into the meal, and they talked about it. Teresa commented that the food seemed like a cross between chicken soup and spaghetti, completely different types of foods. Ah, said Margaret's mom, there are lots of different foods from different cultures and from all over the world that seem to have similarities. As they started discussing different foods, they started with raviolis. There are all kinds of foods that resemble ravioli. Chinese dumplings, baozi, Japanese dumplings or Japanese pot stickers called gyoza, or Polish pierogies. Then there are foods that look like dumplings, but you can hold them in your hand or use a knife and fork with them, like the samosas, or the pies Latin cultures called empanada. Jewish cultures have something called a knish. Then there are these flatbreads that all these different cultures have come up with. Roti and matzah and injera, tortillas, papadum, naan, pita, all completely different and some very similar qualities. And then Margaret's father commented on the fact that many iconic dishes from many cultures came out of the same need: what to do with what's left in the kitchen, either leftovers or figuring out what to do with what you had. They're all delicious and they are known for their cultures, but they came from a common experience. As the meal came to a close, Teresa had to admit that she didn't dislike chicken cacciatore after all. The onions were okay. Next time, though, she'd skip the olives. So our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, is kind of like sitting down at someone else's table, accepting the food that has been offered to you and giving it a chance, learning about the food that sustains them and giving it a chance and seeing whether it's right for you. Maybe you like the olives, or maybe you understand better how they like them. Thank you for being part of this lesson.